All right, guys, welcome to this video. Today, I want to talk to you about why most people fail when it comes to actually starting a successful SaaS, a successful software. There's so many of you guys out there that, are starting to play around with these AI tools and vibe coding, and you whip up a bunch of projects, a bunch of different ideas, a bunch of different code bases, only to have it actually lead nowhere. And it sucks because if you're trying to make a business out of it, well, and if you're not making any money with it and you kind of keep in the cycle, then it really starts to be like kind of discouraging, right? And you probably see a lot of people out there on the internet, maybe even people like myself, who are, going at this for the first time, and we're seeing success with our software. So the question is, why is that? What are we doing right, and what are you doing wrong, right? And that's what I wanted to go over in this video. So let's just kind of dive right into it. So the first mistake I see a lot of guys making is that any idea that they have, they just build it. Okay. And so there's a lot of ideas that are probably coming to you, and a lot of opportunities, and a lot of problems that you're seeing. And anytime one of these ideas or opportunities comes to you, you're like, oh yeah, that would be a great software, or that would be a great app. Let me build it. And so you get onto your vibe coding tool, you start building it, and within like a few days or a couple of weeks, you have it built. And then what? Then you have like another idea, and you're like, oh wow, you know what? That would also be really cool if there's like a software for that. And so then you go and build that. And so you're always seeing these ideas everywhere. You're seeing opportunities and problems everywhere. And so you start building solutions for like a lot of these things. And that is like the first fundamental error that you're making. I did a group call the other day. I had over 300 people try to register for it. I only let about 20 people actually register. And in this group call, I actually made the analogy, and I can actually share with you guys the first slide of the presentation. The best analogy I can give you guys is you can think of it as sitting at a poker table, right? Let's say you're playing poker, and the strategy in poker is you need to place your bets when the odds of you winning are high, right? So when you're dealt a great pair of cards, that's when you want to bet more. And when you have a worse pair of cards, right? That's when you want to bet not at all, or you want to bet less, right? Obviously, the cards that are dealt on the table also will matter, but the cards that you're holding also matter a lot. And so, if you have just like a 2 and a 3, and the cards on the table are bad, well, it doesn't make sense to place your bet, right? You want to wait until you have a great pair of cards, until the cards on the table are great, and then you place your bet, and you bet big, right? And the problem is that you guys are sitting at this hypothetical poker table, and you are placing a bet on every single round. Anytime that the cards get dealt, regardless of what cards you're holding, you place your bet. Whether maybe it's a small bet, maybe it's a medium-sized bet, whatever it is, you're placing your bet. And it's the same thing with the softwares that you're building. It's like anytime you get an idea, anytime you get a sliver of, oh, maybe this could be a great SaaS, you go and you build it. And that's the problem, is that you're placing your bet on every round. And so the better way to do this, and the correct way to do this, and this is the process I went through, and this is kind of what I shared on the group call, is when I left my last company, I was a CEO. I left it to my co-founder. I had a period of 2 months where I had no clue what I wanted to do. I had no clue what was next. I started to have the feeling that I want to get into software, but I had no idea like what kind of software, like what kind of software, what is it going to do? What's the problem it's going to solve? How am I going to go about building it? Is it going to be B2B or B2C? I had no idea. But then what happened was I started to get more ideas, and I started to see opportunities, and just to have kind of more things coming to me. And so I started to get ideas like almost every week or every other day. I was like, oh, that would be a good software. Oh, that would be a good software. Oh, maybe that would be good software, right? And the thing is, the first step here in the process before you build anything is to actually just be patient and wait until you have an idea that stands out from all the other ideas that you had. Okay. And that's why on that slide, the title was Patience is a Strategy. So for me, I spent 2 months just being patient and just waiting to see, okay, I have all these ideas, but I need to make one move. I'm not here to be a hobbyist. I'm not here to be a hobbyist vibe coder. I'm here to turn my software into a very profitable company that I can hopefully exit for like $50 million in the next few years. And so if that's my goal, I need to be strategic. And when I make a move, I need to be as certain as I possibly can that the move I'm making is going to be a very good bet that's going to yield me a very high return on my investment or return on my bet, right? So what we're doing here is we're placing a bet. And the way we increase our odds of this bet being a good bet, there's actually a whole process. There's a whole process to go through. But in this video, I'm just going to talk about the first piece. Right? We're just talking about the first piece in this video, and that is to be patient. It's to wait until you have an idea that just kind of feels different than all the other ideas you've been having. It's being patient until something just kind of sticks out to you a little bit more than all the other things that you saw. It's something that kind of just resonates differently. And maybe it's something that you have a stronger vision for, right? Maybe you can kind of see further into the future with it, or maybe you kind of have a lot more clarity with this one particular idea of like what it could be, based on the kind of potential that you feel. And once again, you might feel potential with all the ideas, but you want to wait for the one that just stands out from the rest. Okay. That is the best piece of advice I can give you. When you're first starting, when you don't have an idea of what software it is that you want to build. And so that's what I did. And for 2 months, I waited. And while I was waiting, I did also start to develop some criteria. And what I would also like to do is share that criteria with you, because, as you're waiting to figure out what SaaS software you want to pursue, or if you've already built a few and none of them have been successful, you might want to go back to this step, and kind of approach it differently. And so as I was waiting, I started to kind of get a little bit more clarity on what kind of software I wanted to build. Okay. And so one of the first things that came to me as kind of the clarity is I wanted to make sure that whatever software I'm going to build, I want to build something that is relatively simple. So simple to build, simple to understand, simple to code. Okay. So originally I was thinking, maybe I can like build some sort of micro SaaS, right? A micro SaaS is just like a software that just does like one thing and it just does it well, right? So it's just like one little feature and people pay for it because it solves like a problem that people really have. And so it's just like it's like a one feature kind of software, or maybe like a couple features, right? So my initial idea was maybe I build a micro SaaS. So that was like an idea. But once again, I didn't know what kind of micro SaaS, but that was like one of my potential criterias. What I ended up building is not a micro SaaS, but that kind of, it's still what I built, which is roasform.com. It still has that kind of simplistic kind of mentality behind it. Because at the end of the day, at least this current version of the software is fairly, like the mental model is fairly straightforward. It's a form builder, it's a calendar, it's not much more complicated than that. It's a fairly simple thing. And I had very good reasons of why I decided to build it, which I'm not going to go into today. But the point is that it is simple. It's a form builder. It's a calendar, right? And so that was one of my criterias. And the other one of my criterias was that I wanted it to be a B2B SaaS. So business to business. I did not want to build a B2C software, business to consumer, like for example, like an iPhone app, or a a software on the computer for B2C. I did not want to do that because for a few reasons. I kind of did some more research and just kind of toyed around some different ideas. And the bottom line is this: the bottom line is that if you build a SaaS, your churn rate in B2B is usually like so much lower, and it's so much easier to build a software, a product that actually solves like a big pain for a business uh, than it is a consumer. At least that's how I feel about it. And, from what I've seen, the churn rates are like a lot lower when you're doing B2B. If you build something that actually solves a problem for a business, and you're able to charge a lot more money because you're dealing with B2B, businesses, companies have a lot more money to purchase things. They can justify investing into their business, especially into software that's going to fix a big problem for them, whether that's making their business more profitable, making their marketing better, helping with their sales or their backend. I don't know what kind of software you guys want to build, but the point is businesses are willing to pay for solutions at a much higher price points and on a much longer term basis than like a B2C thing, right? And I've looked at some of the SaaSes that people are building, and they're building like time management or like task management softwares. They're building like iPhone apps where it's just like I don't know, like a random like iPhone app to like scan a receipt or something. And to me, it's just like why are you doing that? Like, do you like why are you doing that? I'm not saying it's impossible for it to work, and I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying like truly, like why are you doing that? Like, why do you think that's a good idea, right? And there's a whole framework that I walked people through in my group call to further go through the process and to truly validate if you have once you have your idea, to truly validate, is this even a good idea? Is there even a market for this? Right? How do we actually establish and prove and get evidence that this is a good idea before we place that bet on that idea? You see what I'm saying? And that's a whole process, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. But yeah, in this video, I just wanted to share that was kind of one of my criteria. I wanted to build something B2B. I just think it's a much better niche. I just think it's higher ticket. Like on ROAS Forum, we have a $99 plan. We have like a $299 plan, right? And some customers are on that $299 plan, and some of them have paid annually for that $299 plan. And like with most B2C apps, like you're just not going to be able to charge that much, So for me, I also wanted to make sure that whatever I'm building, and this was kind of my third criteria, I wanted to enter a market where I can charge like at least $99 a month. Okay. I did not want to go into like a market where I got to charge like $9 a month or like $29 a month. That's kind of my main plan. Or get like a bunch of, have my strategy be to get a bunch of like free plans and then convert like 1 or 2% of them. Like, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure that whatever software I build something that's actually useful enough to the point where people are willing to pay at least $100 a month. And if you extrapolate that over like the period of 1 year, you're looking at like 1,200 a value in just like 1 year, assuming they just stay on that one plan and they never upgrade to like a higher plan, So yeah, those were kind of my 3 kind of criterias that I developed while I was waiting to receive my final idea and to kind of move forward on my final idea. And after about 2 months, the idea of ROAS Forum just kind of kept coming back. Started to look into it more, started to look at the market, started to validate my idea. Everything checked I got all the boxes checked. I had validated the market, validated the idea. And then it was just time to start building it. And that's kind of the process. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you guys in this video. And I hope you guys, I hope you are careful with your time, and I hope you're careful with when you're placing your bet. I want you guys to succeed, and I don't want you to waste your time and your energy on something that isn't going to, become fruitful for you. So I want you to make sure that you increase your likelihood of winning if you're going to build a software. And I hope that this video helped you kind of think about it a little bit differently instead of just tackling and whipping up softwares. Because that's the other thing. It's like, it's so easy. It's like a blessing, and it's also like a bad thing. It's like building code and building software has become so accessible that it makes it easy now for anybody to enter the space. It makes it easy to build things. It makes it easy for me to get into the space. It makes it easy for you to get into the space. And that's a good thing. And now we can build things easier and faster. But then the downside of that is exactly the same thing that makes it a good thing. The downside is that it's so easy to get into that, and it's so easy to do that it's easy to get in the cycle of just constantly building, building, building one idea, second idea, third idea, then having all these ideas lead to nowhere because you're just kind of in the same repetitive loop, in the same repetitive cycle. So I hope I hope that was valuable for you guys. If you learn, feel free to comment on this video and tell me what was your biggest takeaway. I would love to hear from you guys. And please subscribe to the channel if you got something out of this video. My name is Jovan, the founder of SAAS Forum, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.